So today we're going to have a look at shooting your bow further, how to get the most out of your recurve bow. This is a big question for a lot of people. They've been shooting probably outside for one season, and then the outdoor season comes around again and they're still kind of stuck on shooting they've shot through the 20 yard, 30 yard, 40 yard, and they want to know how to shoot kind of 50 yards, 50 meters and things like that. So there are several things you can do before you actually need to go out and buy new limbs or pull more poundage. So we're going to just run through those things now. So number one, basically sight marks. If you have got a sight, if you're on a sight on a normal recurve and you're not shooting bare bow, then obviously to shoot further, what we'd normally do is we would lower the actual sight block down until it got to the bottom of the sight, in order to make you obviously shoot further, because you're angling upwards, so the arrow is going to arc more. If you find that you're already at the bottom of your sight, then one good tip really is to bring it in towards you, because then you will gain more height on the arrows as well. So if you haven't done that yet, you can bring the sight in towards you. Some people have even been known to actually take the sight off, turn it upside down and put it facing you on the other side of the block. I've tried that. It's not great. It's a bit awkward having the sight really close to you, but yeah, give it a go. Bring the sight close to you and the sight down as low as you can get, but mind out that you don't catch the arrow or catch the veins or anything like that with the actual sight or scope that you've got on your sight. The second thing you can look at is strings. Now if you've been shooting for a couple of years and you've never changed your string, then it's a really good idea to change your string. And please buy a good quality string, such as rainbow strings or nitro, or I use rain. You can get those custom made, or you can buy them off the shelf. Buy a nice fast string material. The more strands you have in your string, the slower it'll actually be. So you might want to stick to kind of a 16 strand, 18 strand, something like that. What else? Basically the string is really important. If you've not swapped it over for a while, it will become slow and you will not believe the difference a new string will make to your sight marks. Thirdly, nock points. If you're still using metal nock points on your string, they can slow down your string and so slow down your arrow so it won't go as far. What you really want to be doing is tying on thread onto your string for a nock point. It's quite cheap to buy. Go out and buy yourself some nock thread. There's loads of videos on YouTube about how to tie it on. Just get used to tying them yourself onto a new string. And how to set your own kind of nocking points as well with a T-square or bow gauge. What you'll find is that once you take those metal nock points off, is that your string and your arrows will go further and your string will speed up. Another reason for putting thread basically on your string is that I always found that the metal nock points on the string actually quite happily ate into the leather on your finger tab as well and kind of ruined that, which you don't get if you kind of use knocking thread on your string. So number 4 in the list is your arrow rest. If you're currently using a plastic like a Hoyt Super Rest, what you might find is that these plastic rests do really slow down your arrows when they leave the rest. I used one for a year or so, and then I kind of moved to the metal one, magnetic metal arrow rest. I was very surprised again how much my sight marks moved by using a metal rest, as it kind of doesn't really contact or slow down the arrow so much. So that's something you might want to look into if you're actually using a plastic arrow rest and you want to speed up your arrows, move to a metal one. Okay, number 5 is brace height. You need to be checking your brace height, really. If you aren't checking it, you should really be checking your brace height every time you string your bow. But if you're kind of more of a social shooter, then please just check it sort of once a month or something like that. It's really important to check it because it can change, strings can untwist themselves, and what you find is your shots will become less accurate. But one important thing about the brace height is that the speed of the arrows basically as well. And what you'll find that if the string is basically closer to the bow, and so you've got a smaller brace height, you will find that you'll get more speed out of your arrows. And as you get to have a longer brace height, the distance from the grip to the string, you'll find that your arrows will slow down a little bit. So it's really important to check your brace height. If you don't know what brace height you should have it set at, please check your riser manufacturer's website or the booklet that came with your riser, and that will give you an indication of where to start with your brace height measurements. Okay, the next point is arrows. Now, if you're shooting fat arrows outside and you're using the same arrows all year round that you would kind of normally shoot indoors, you're going to find that fat arrows are going to be slower. They've got more drag. They're going to be slower outside. You might have bigger vanes on them as well. It's worth looking at buying new outdoor arrows. You can always shoot them indoors as well, but a skinnier outdoor arrow will always cut through the wind and travel faster as well. A standard kind of entry-level outdoor arrow is the Eastern ACC. The great thing about those is if you do actually break any, you can buy them in singles and replace the ones you've broken or someone else has hit for you. So you can buy those in various quantities as well. You don't have to buy a dozen to start off with. You can buy and try some out as well to start off with. I really do recommend a skinnier arrow for outdoors if you want to get further, make your bow shoot further. So the next thing on the list is to look at your limbs. Now, you don't have to go out and buy new limbs. The limbs you've got are probably fine already. Obviously, go out and buy new limbs if you want to spend a bit more money and a better quality limb. Usually more expensive limbs are faster. You could also want to go up the poundage, in which case you will need to go out and buy some new limbs. But what you could do with your current limbs is actually look at changing the poundage on your riser. Now, I said you don't have to increase the poundage, but this is kind of a last ditch effort really to increase your distance that you're shooting and get better sight marks, is to actually wind in the bolts on your riser so to increase the poundage that you're pulling on limbs. Normally when most risers leave the factory or when they're set up for you in your archery shop, the limbs will normally be about halfway, turned in about halfway. So yeah, I mean, please know what you're doing with this, but you can basically turn in your bolts on each end of the riser and actually increase the poundage by screwing in the bolts. Obviously, you can also decrease the poundage by doing the opposite and winding out the bolts as well. What I normally do on the edges of my bolts is put a pencil line so that I know that I've given them an exact one turn or a turn and a half, so that I don't get them out of sync. Hopefully that's helped you. And you can try some of those things out. You can try all those things out, or just try one out at a time and see how it changes your sight marks. So I think you'll be quite surprised how changing several things at once, quite small changes like the arrow rest, knocking points to thread, and other things can actually, a new string can actually change your sight marks by a centimetre or two, and will get you shooting further. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe if you have, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.